Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Long Night. And thanks again for Wellgo USA for giving me a chance to check out this new Blu-ray release. And this was originally called The Coven, so a different, very generic sounding horror movie name. And this is from director Ragsdale, who looks like he composed Eight-Legged Freaks and, has some director credit like Ghost House and definitely a lot of music videos. And you could definitely tell that by this movie because I felt like, it makes so much sense because like at the beginning of this movie, it's so slow. It's just so many music-filled establishing shots. Like the first 10 minutes of this movie are a very large proportion. We're just establishing shots, this camera looking down at this car driving, and you're just like, okay, how much more establishment do we need? When's this movie going to start? And then you have this couple who, honestly, when it really comes down to it, really are not the most interesting or likable or engaging couple. You kind of hate the guy in this scenario, and like the woman's not a whole lot better. And they come to this like random secluded house, and you start seeing hooded figures with like animal skulls on and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, we got a cult here. We have some kind of supernatural cult here. And the film is interesting that it has like composer Sherry Chung's score is a good score, but it's so aggressive and loud and boisterous and overbearing at a whole bunch of times. The atmosphere, though, is eerie and unnerving, and Ragsdale does a fine job of doing that. But, like, when you don't connect with this couple, and then you have this cult coming at them, and it's, like, dragged out for this hour and a half, because there's not a whole lot of narrative to this story, and you're just like, okay, we're going to stretch this real thin. Not much plot. We're just going to keep stretching this thin, and maybe eventually these hooded figures are going to actually get to the couple and see what happens. And, like, there's not any particular strong performance of, like, Jeff Fahey. He pops up in so many small-time VOD movies at this point, and, like, smaller releases. And I just feel like this movie is slow-moving, doesn't do a lot, and when it does finally get to where it's going, you kind of are a bit checked out because it was such a chore to get there. And like when it gets there, it just feels like a forgettable, tropey kind of horror movie ending, and you're just like, okay, well, it was creepy, it was unnerving, but it stretched it out too much, so that kind of dissipated over the course of this hour and a half movie, which isn't even that long. But in the end, I just feel like this one, not exactly something that I would strongly recommend you going out and trying to check out. But, if you're into horror movies and you like some good atmosphere and like a creepy cult coven movie, well, you have The Long Night. But those are my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.